Mamelodi Sundowns had went all the way to Egypt and played against a very tough crowd in Cairo and came back as winners. They actually got the goal that they needed and they won the tie. Then they through to the semi-finals. Congratulations. Pirates, unfortunately, Amaparania lost out at the last minute. They're not going to the finals. Pyramids went through. Kaiser Chiefs again suffering to qualify for the top eight. Kwenzakalan. Let's also talk about, guys. Welcome back to the Disky Pod. Before we begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. It helps us to send it through to more guys who are appreciative and who love talking about football. So I want us to start from the top. Kulumeng and Sundowns, which for me is the weekend or the game of the week, or the weekend rather, in a sense where if you were tuned in, you couldn't just be proud enough for a South African team to be where it is and actually play against a hostile crowd where you can't even hear yourself think. I mean, for me, the way Al Ahly is so intimidating, it reminds me of Madrid. And a lot of things were happening. I'm guessing, as much as we can talk about having experience and Sundowns having to play away from home, it's not the first time. Doesn't mean they're not human and they're not players. They don't feel the pressure. And now you're a goal down first half. You have to play another 45. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I think for me, hats off to them. In a sense where they actually got the result that they needed. Want to start from here. Looking at the changes that they've made is only Umurena on the side, which I'm thinking now Cardoso was expecting Al Ahly to play a very low block, even though they're playing from home. And maybe he was anticipating that they would play on transition. So he was looking to play that with. Because we saw they were playing a bit of long balls. It was very odd to see Sundowns playing long balls, man. I don't want to understand. It was very cringe for me. Because most of the time, they love playing, which it are the passing the ball and breaking down the opponents. And this time around, I mean, Al Ahly was playing an open game. So I was expecting a few box entries, them having to be late, and I was expecting that. Shout out to Ribeiro. I think here a chance or two could have given them a goal. I mean, he was there. He was really, really, really pressing, and he was the difference. I think for me that game was short of that. But that's where you understand how big of the stage it was and how much of a difference the 12th man has. I mean, the fans made it probably not as comfortable as Sundowns would have liked. They looked really composed. Don't get me wrong, but we can't shy away from the fact that playing away from home in a stadium that makes a lot of noise, they were singing for their fans. I mean, that gives the home team, that kind of energy for them to make it uncomfortable if you're playing away. So that was the only change. I mean, I don't know what happened. Salas was supposed to come in when we saw the lineup. I think it was a day change. Then Morena came in. I don't know if it was a discussion or two because he didn't look injured because he did come in second half. So that's the only change in the lineup leading to the first leg or from the first leg until now. But for me, a lot of people would say, yeah, it was very dull. There's not a amount of goals. Al Ahly is a big team. But Sundowns, man, they've been campaigning. I mean, as I said, they've paid their school fees. They've been through the semi-finals. I mean, this is their first final in 9 years since 2016, where they actually won it. All this time, quarters, semis. That's 16. So they've been at this stage. I think they've campaigned enough, and congratulations to them. I mean, they gave us a good showdown, and we're proud. I mean, we're vouching for a South African final. It didn't happen, but I'm glad this did. So we'll see Sundowns in the final. I think the dates have been out. I think it's somewhere around May 24. The second leg is going to be played in June. Sundowns has plays the first game, Loftus home game, and Pyramids second leg, and we'll see if it's enough. For me, I'll give you my predictions at the end of the video, but I want to leave it there. And congrats to Mikel Cardoso. He was under a lot of pressure, so now they focus on the league, and they should be able to wrap it up. Let's go to the Pirates game, man. I don't know what happened there. Pirates had an advantage, guys. Guys, I don't know if you guys understand. If you are the away team and the other team failed to score at home, You have the advantage. And whatever goal you score from first goal to second goal, relax. Coach, put in a ball, Musele, close it. I mean, Musele has actually the structure of having to take care of the long balls, man. I mean, I'm very disappointed with the senior players, namely Sbisi Nokoki, just to name them out. Before we go there, the lineup was also not really that. There's not much of a difference. Let me say that. I don't want to go into it, but it's just the same. At the back, Mbogazi, Koki, no Sbisi, the same. The only change that they had actually made was Umahopa for Mabas, which I did say in my pre-match video, in a sense where now we understand why Rivero chooses to play with Umahopa. They look better. They threatening in front, and the front three or two, I would say, or the front three. Let me say that there's more creativity within that mold. So Umofokeng, Nonkota, they are able to have enough room. I think it's because of Amaran Wagamabasa. They don't agree, or that there's not enough synergy that it can help that attack to get goals. So the first leg came and went, and you have to wrap it up in this game. North Africans, for me, this is my opinion alone. The only way you are able, or they are able to beat you, if they can't come from the inside in terms of those pockets, it's just from crosses, set pieces. And that's what they did. Pirates just needed to take care of that side of life. Just take care of the second ball, long ball, set pieces. I mean, Isbi says a captain, that second ball or the second goal, it was very long. I mean, the only thing, that guy is not even the tallest on the field. I mean, okay for them. I think they have to really look at themselves and say, look, there was a chance here. But in hindsight as well, I was thinking to myself, look, Pirates, they haven't really been in CAF Champions League in a long time. So I think for them having such a season, hats off to them. I think those are the talking points. Not really a failure, because to make it as two semi-finals after a long time not playing CAF Champions League says a lot, and not losing any games, being I think they're the team who scored the most goals, and they've leaked less goals, or considered less goals. Let me say that. It's a good campaign. I mean, whoever's going to be taking from Jose Rivero, those are the things that they want to look for. They've given young players a chance. I don't know if experience as well. I think I do. Now, I think experience here does count. So there's a lot of things they can take back and say they can improve on from this kind of performance. So number 1 and 2 in our league shows the strength, displays the kind of seriousness our South African teams are showing when it comes to CAF. So we can look at that game holistically and saying, hey, Maele, because of him being a quality striker, and Pyramids having to have invested so much in the club and the players that they've recruited. And also, look, Pyramids was not just a pushover of a team. They haven't lost. They're in a good position to win the Egyptian League. So Pirates really, really were against a very good side. Let me be fair. They were playing against a good side. So Mapagania, I think Inteba Shahidi game management, but I'll leave it at that. With that game, they lost 3-2, meaning they're not advancing to the finals. They're coming back home. They got a big payout from them having to have made it this far. And now the focus, they still have 2 cups to play for. It's the league and the final of the Nedbank. Which brings me to my last point, or my last talking point, or my last game. Enkwatisayo. Kaiser Chiefs were playing Gupeswe Premiership against Maromo Gallants, a team that they beat in the first leg, or let me say the first round of matches. Now, this is obviously wrapping up the league. They are trying so hard, or they are struggling. I think they're campaigning not to qualify for the MTN. I don't understand. Ever since they played that Sundowns game, these guys have not looked the same ever since. That's why a lot of fans have been saying it seems like these players choose games. But I want to highlight something very quickly. Let's look at the lineup, which was a totally, I don't understand. Either it's injuries or managing the players for the 2 games, which is the derby in the league and also the final. Cross was playing left central back, sorry. Winiga came back at the right central back. We're playing with Solomons again. Then Mashiana was playing left back. Two double pivot, which you have Ucele, we have Umar as usual. Number 10, Sereno is suspended because of Amailo Kaza accumulated. Mode also is suspended. Dupree on the right and Utuba. I'm coming. I'm coming. I just want to give you the context. Here I want to talk about the lineup. Now, Nabi has made a couple of changes because of the experiences in terms of injuries. I don't know what happened, what kind of injury Msimango got. Mikel is back on the bench, but I guess he was also saving him because also he was on a yellow card and also the injury because he's playing Itabi. Every game is a final for me. I think he should have played him here. Every game is a final. You can't say because we're playing Itabi next week and all these things. Okay, so look, I'm thinking the technical team looks like this is the best lineup they can put against Maroma Gallants. Now, the thing that I have an issue with, you can't put the Solomons, no, not to pre, in one line. Those guys are very lazy. Lazy in the sense where Utupri, when you give him the ball attacking wise, you won't get the ball back. He's not good playing on the sides. He can play central, but there on the wings, he's terrible. 1v1s, can't take care of the ball, can't return it, he thinks a lot. Solomons as well is overlapping. There's a lot of thinking that he does that doesn't make sense. He doesn't take care of the ball well. You have to really be concerned about what he wants to do. We don't know. If Solomons moves forward, you don't know if he wants to pass, he wants to cross, he wants to shoot. He thinks a lot. He does a lot of things that you yourself, as someone who's just watching, you don't understand what he wants to do. Imagine his own teammates. That's the thing. So, okay, I loved when Lilepo was there on the left. Lilepo is, you can say, but for me, it still looks like, he's not really, I don't know if that's how he plays. He's too calm when he gets the ball and he thinks a lot. But there was a good goal, by the way, contender for goal of the season for me. There was a good goal coming from the left and hitting a curler. But that's as far as we can talk about in regards to the kind of chances, big chances, clear chances, chances that they were worth talking about, apart from Mutuba hitting the post. But for the rest of the time, Kaizer Chiefs looked down. Like Marumo Gallants were pushing, they were forcing us to make mistakes in our own half, which Solomons could not pick that up. I saw Nabi being very animated on the sidelines because of the situation where Solomons is not quick to understand that they were pressing him because of that. I think Marumo Gallants or the coach picked up Gutu Solomons is our key. Because if you can check, there was no time and place, I don't remember the time, that they ever actually tried to go through Umashian. Mashian was on holiday. Now himself at times second half, he became worse. I think before the second half, he lost a lot of balls. And there was no really balls that we're using that we can go forward. So Chiefs now look like a club, a very small club. They were not together. The passes that we are actually trying to combine, they're more in our own half. We couldn't get out. For a while, we couldn't get out of our own half. That said, for me, when you look at the fact that we played a good game against the Sundowns and we come and play against these smaller clubs and there is a sense of individually, we're not taking care of our own game. So you think now that, okay, is it a coaching problem or is it a quality problem? Because we've been saying this. I mean, 4 coaches, Hunt, Zwane, Ntseki, Kevin Johnson, have been fired because of these kind of performances and because of using such players. So for Kaizer Chiefs, for me, I think our season is done. There's no top 8 that we're going to vie for because you're going to hurt yourself a bit more. I think here, squad overhaul, or them having to think really carefully about who they'd like to sign. I think management also need to be careful around the fact that they sign players for coaches and coaches have to come into this kind of mess and you have to deal with the player because now you are forced not to have, you have to deal with this player for the rest of the season. Some of them are injury prone. They don't even hear, but half of the time they're injured. So for me, I don't know if this is a falling giant, but these short-term solutions for Kaizer Chiefs will not work. I mean, the project that they say, I don't think Unabi has been given enough material. I don't think it's also fair to always have to blame coaches when they have to coach such players. I mean, there's things that you see there, the technical application, um, in terms of the players themselves, that it doesn't. You as a professional coach, you can't coach that. I mean, you can't tell Solomon's first touch. You have to, when you receive the ball, you have to know what you're going to do, what is supposed to. If you've seen, it's been substituted twice already. Even the last game, Nabi was not happy with him. But I guess because he doesn't have a choice in terms of the availability of players, he has to put him on. And the rest of the guys as well. I mean, Nangu Dupri has been coming on as a sub. I think it was also pushing him to give us a bit more. This is what he does. I mean, in a good day, if he didn't score that goal against the Sundowns, we'll still have the same problem. So, that's as much I can talk the whole day about Kaiser Chiefs. But there's a lot of problems here. I'm picking up there's a lot of problems when it comes to Kaiser Chiefs. There's a lot of things that needs to be changed. I think in terms of players, let's leave the technical team for a while because that has been tried and tested, and they're still not had a much of a difference. So yeah, that's all I can say, guys. That's all I have for the video. Predictions for me in the final, I think Sundowns. We're talking about CAF now. Sundowns has an advantage over Pyramids. I don't want to jinx it, but I think Sundowns is going to get their second star for me. According to me, Sundowns is going to get their second star. And yeah, guys, this talk this week. We're covering Soweto Derby. Midweek, Pirates and Sundowns are playing catch-up games with the FT Premiership. See you there, and appreciate you guys. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Sharp, sharp.